Welcome back to another episode of Your Content Factory. My name is Blake. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are in this beautiful world. Sitting down, standing up, the whole ritual that we do every time, no matter what position you find yourself in. If you're on a ladder hanging out on your phone, that's cool. I hope it turns out okay for you. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Today, we are in the Blueform studio, of course, but we have here the background behind me. This is the Wealth 435 team's background. Their podcast is the 435 podcast. So shout out to Robert and the crew. Those guys are great. So we wanted to kind of showcase this background too, because they're actually recording right after this. And they have one of the best backgrounds, I think. This black, it just kind of captures the light. Right now we have this blue light on there so you can kind of see the dimensions. It really gives the wall some texture. It just makes the background pop. So we love this background, and we're so happy that 435 Podcast gets to use it. But like I've said, we should probably do a video for our YouTube of the modularity that we've built into this studio. I think it would blow a lot of people's minds. So everything in here can be changed out. Pretty much everything you see in this camera angle can be changed out, other than this wall is painted gray. It's just the base color. So we thought we'd kind of showcase this side of the room a little bit more on YCF, and we'll probably show all of our clients' backgrounds and kind of highlight them. So shout out to the 435 Podcast. This is their background. They do awesome stuff here in St. George, talking about local politics, talking about real estate, giving people value in the community, and they're turning some heads. So turning some heads, too, for some big sponsors. So we'll see how that develops. But today I got some cool stuff to talk about. We're going to just talk a deep dive into editing, what we call in the industry, a vertical video, right? That's anything that you're seeing on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, and TikTok. Those are all vertical videos. And that's anything you look at any type of video that you're watching on your phone vertically, that's a vertical video. Go figure. But here at Blueform Media, we believe very strongly in 2 posts a day, or two vertical videos a day. That's this whole point of this whole content factory, is we can take 60 minutes of your footage and we can turn that into 15 clips, 12 to 15 clips or vertical videos for you to use. We're actually going to be changing our tune a little bit soon, because 60 minutes of footage or a podcast or content, 60 minutes of that is optimal. You could probably squeeze out 10 clips that are really good, like 6 to 7 bangers, and then like a couple just good ones, good clips or good videos. But I think 10 to 15 might be stretching it. We've been doing this. We have data on this for about 2 years now, that we've been doing this many clips, 15 vertical videos from one podcast. And we've been doing that, and it's time to pivot. So we're going to be knocking down our quantity slightly to improve our quality, right? Because if I have 15 clips and only 10 of them are worthwhile, and the other 5, why do those even need to go up on my social media? So we're going to see how that goes in maintaining 2 vertical videos a day. Maybe it's just 1. And reduction. So we're going to reduce the quantity of the output of this here content factory that we call Blueform Media. We're going to reduce our quantity and try some better quality, because our teams, their skills have gotten better. So shout out to Anna, shout out to Chantel. Chantel is amazing. We don't shout her out enough, but she cuts so many clips for so many clients, and she's been doing 15. She'll get, if we give her 60 minutes of footage, she will find 15 clips, and her skill set has just gotten better and better and better. So we had a good training with her last week. And I think we're going to reduce it down to 10 starting 2024 or sooner. So if you're a client and you're listening to this, just know that we're going to be talking soon. And if you hear about it here first, sorry, but we're changing some output. So 60 minutes, just a good benchmark for clip cutting. If you have a podcast, which we always recommend, being the foundation of your content creation is a podcast. You're going to get the most bang for your buck as far as content creation. If you do a podcast, 60 minutes too. We have some of our clients too. They've been, hey, we want to cut this episode in half and we want to stretch it out, and it's only like a 30-minute recording. And so we need to communicate that to them, like, hey, 30 minutes does not equal 10 to 15 clips at all, unless you're just, you have Mother Teresa across from you and she's just dropping nuggets of knowledge on you, or Gandhi, or like if you could interview like Winston Churchill or something. Yeah, we would probably make 10 to 15 clips if we had to. Like if there was a big enough reason, a big enough personality in the chair, like where everything they said was gold. Yeah, you could probably get more clips out of a 30-minute episode.
In the industry, we call them nugs.
Nugs. Some chicken nugs.
That's a good nug.
A nug. Some chicken nuggets. Some gold nugs. Yeah, so that's an industry term, by the way, right, Mal? That's like 100% used by everybody.
Yep. I just made that up, but now everyone uses it.
Yeah, it's an industry term. So, yeah, we could get content out of that, but 60 minutes, if it's good prepared content. Like shout out to Cody Adent, right? He's always got a set amount of questions to ask his guest. It's a very structured podcast. Same thing with like Brandon and Jeff with Solid. All of our clients, we always talk about our clients, but Robert McFarland with 435, whose backgrounds we're using, right? He's always good at asking and extracting these questions, and especially the topics here, because he's interviewing local people running for politics, running for seats in city council in St. George and other surrounding areas in southern Utah. So it's very relevant for the locals here, and it just has a ton of traction on like TikTok and Instagram and all these places, because he is extracting these really important topics about what it's going to look like with water here in southern Utah. We're in the desert, if you didn't know. So water is a big topic, a whole bunch of political issues, and those turn into excellent vertical videos. So putting a little bit of structure to your podcast is really going to help your team extract these vertical videos out of there. And I think we were really wringing every podcast out like a wet rag, just trying to get every drop out of that episode. But there's an equation here I want to run by you. So 60 minutes, you can write this down, press pause, put this on your phone, write it down, scratch it into your arm with a blade if you need to, because this is that important. If you are doing content, set these numbers. If I do 60 minutes of intentional content, whether I'm sitting in front of a camera doing this, here's 3 things you can do to fucking, sorry for the fingers, but I hate that form of content. It's a skill set I need to do. Maybe that's why I hate it, is because I suck at it. So maybe that's what I need to get better at. But that form of content is excellent. If I can do 60 minutes of intentional content, whether it's on a podcast or I'm looking at the camera, that should equal 10 vertical videos that are like, majority of them are bangers. That's also an industry term. Pop, pop. Like it's a clip that just slaps. Like good elements. So we're going to talk about the elements of the clip.
It'd be bussin'.
It'd be bussin'. Oh, yeah. If you got 10 clips that are bussin',
yeah.
bussin' those 10 clips. Yeah, I forgot about that on AI. That was funny. So, yeah, that's kind of it. That's the benchmark. 60 minutes of content equals 10 clips, 10 vertical videos, if it's intentional. Anything less than that, it's hard to get 10 clips. So if you're, whatever quantity you want to fulfill, that's kind of the metric. 60-minute podcast should equal really 10 good, really good moments, or concise thoughts and ideas. And then, of course, you can turn that podcast into other content like, 10 to 15-minute videos, which we call podcast segments, up on your YouTube. If you go watch the JRE Clips channel, that's the whole channel is like 10-minute snippets of the Joe Rogan podcast. And those get a lot of traction and a lot of views. They're easier to digest. So talking about clips, though, that's the metric. 60 minutes equals 10 clips. Let's break down the elements of a clip. So to give you guys some value, okay, if you're doing this by yourself, and you're looking at 60 minutes of footage and you're trying to find 10 clips, that's very time consuming. So what we do is we have a live producer switching camera angles, right? Like Mal, if there was a second camera in here, she would be switching it. And you'll see that in all of our content. She's switching camera angles live. And what it does is it allows her to take timestamps as well. So we have a system and an SOP kind of written for our editors where in the notes, we can highlight a good clip in a certain way with certain symbols or markers in that timestamp, that master document. And so our editors can grab that and really be very efficient in extracting out that information. Because if you do toss your content over to an editor, they weren't there, right? And if you expect them to watch a 60-minute podcast fully and then edit it, or take the time to extract those good moments, that just costs money to you. It takes time for the editor that they need to be paid for. So reducing the amount of time it takes, right? A live producer can really optimize this whole process.
Can I make a side note?
Yeah.
So AI is like all the rage right now, right? And people are like, well, just put your episode into an AI tool and it'll give you timestamps. And I'm like, yeah, that's helpful for sure. Mm-hmm. But like the AI doesn't know at what point in the episode there was like a banger of a clip, right? Like it just transcribes everything, gives you timestamps, and that's helpful. But it's like, to me, it's way more helpful to have a live producer making notes with a big star or whatever. It's like, this part was fucking amazing. Make a clip out of this.
That's a good point. Because sometimes it's not, the AI doesn't know your brand. So AI is an awesome tool like we've talked about on other podcasts. It will help you build your content factory faster and more efficient. So if you don't take timestamps, if you don't have a live producer, you can still drop your content, your footage into AI. Like there's a tool called Opus Clip that we love. We use it way differently than it's intended for. They want you to drop your full episode in there, and then it will extract using keywords and conversation and body language. It's machine learning, right? And again, it's not really AI. It's machine learning that's leading to AI. People misconstrued this, right? It's still version like 0.1. It's new. It's not going to do everything for you perfectly, but it will save you a ton of time. So you could drop the whole episode into Opus Clip, and it should spit out a couple, as many clips as it finds. So sometimes we've dropped a 60-minute episode in, and it spit out, like 12 to 18 clips, but probably only 6 of those were even usable to the standards that we wanted, right, Mal?
Yeah, I would say even less than that, because they cut in and out at weird spots, and it's AI, it doesn't know, so it'll like chop the middle of the conversation. Mm-hmm. I mean, we talk about this all the time. It's like, it's just a tool. Use it to be more efficient, but don't expect it to replace somebody completely.
Yeah, it still needs a human touch, we've found. We've used them all. So what's the other one? Monster or Munster?
Munch was another one.
Munster.
Veed was another one. I've used anybody who's like, have you heard? I'm like, yeah, we have.
Yeah, we tried them all for a while.
Yeah.
We were on an AI kick, just trying them on. It's like we were in a dressing room. We're like, does this fit? Nope. Okay. Shit. That was $100. So it's really useful. It's really accelerated our processes and allowed us to be more effective. But it still requires a human touch. So what we do is we edit a clip. We extract the clip from the producer's timestamp notes. Our editor takes that and chops up the footage. They add the elements that we're going to go over here in a second. And they don't finalize the clip. They don't even do subtitles, our editor. They just shoot it over to a quality control, which is usually us, and we're filling a position right there for that. But the quality control person makes sure the clip flows and ebbs well with the elements that we require. And then they drop it into an AI to do the subtitles and to do everything there. We find that's where our process ends, but we do not add music until that clip is being posted to social media. And we're going to play around with that. Maybe there's better results if we embed the music into the actual video. But I think there's actually better results if we use the trending audio of the platform like Instagram or YouTube. They all allow audio to be added over a clip. And a lot of times that will really catch the algorithm in a good way. So be aware of that. If you're editing your own content right now, or you're starting to build your own content factory, obviously this podcast is meant to help that. So the nitty gritty details of how we take your podcast content and turn it into, just 50 plus vertical videos a month and all this stuff and all this YouTube segments and how we optimize that on the YouTube channel. We're really starting to see some growth and some acceleration. So in about a year or two, it's going to be out of control in a good way. It's going to be really good. It's going to be big. So mark this, index this podcast episode because you heard it here first from us. And then we'll check back in a year from now and we'll review this episode and what we've been able to accomplish. But so that's our process. It comes from recording with a producer, taking timestamp notes that goes to an editor. And let's talk about those elements real quick. What does our editors do? What are the elements of a clip, right? So the first thing we teach our editors to do is structuring the clip. The structure of a clip, we talk about the elements of a clip as far as editing elements. And so the first thing they do is they identify the type of clips. And I stole this from Mitch Rose. So Mitch Rose, shout out, dog. And then I added all our own processes on top of this. But it's an acronym. It's called EEII. EEII. EI. That's how it looks like if you read it. So Echo, Echo, India, India. It stands for entertain, educate, inform, or inspire. So those four. Our editor will ask a question. Okay, this clip, and sometimes our producer will even write it down. I started writing that down as I was producing. I'm like, man, that was a really good educational clip. So I'll tag that as an educate next to the symbols and markers we use on that page. And so they know, oh, hey, and I'll put the name of the person on the mic. So if it was Johnny Appleseed talking about the wisdom of planting apple trees, I'd be like, ooh, that was informative. I think I could plant an apple seed now because I heard Johnny Appleseed talk about it. So I'll mark that in the notes and put educational. So it helps my team. But they designate the type of clip that it is. Again, entertainment, educate, inform, or inspire. So inform is like news updates. Educate is like, this is how you should do this. So this whole podcast is centered around education and information, right? So we kind of have that niche. But then the entertainment is when I do weird shit and talk about funny stuff or whatever, right? Or you like a comedic podcast is all entertainment. Those clips, like they don't really have any like value as far as like how to do something or what's going on in the world. They just have really funny opinions. So that's step number one is identify what type it is, because that's going to determine how you edit that. If I'm doing something entertaining, I might have more sounds, more music, or a different type of music, or different cuts and different transitions. So that's important to know. So the structure of a clip is identifying what it is. Then it's understanding that you need to start with a good hook. This is super crucial. A lot of people we've learned as well, a lot of our clips, when we don't have a quality assurance person over our editors, they won't start the clip with like an engaging sentence. So this is where Opus Clip actually comes in great, because it will give you a rating out of 1 to 100 on your, like a score, a rating on how engaging that clip is. And I think it's a good metric to kind of base your clips off of. If it's in the 90s, it's usually a good clip. If it's 80s to 90s, that's acceptable for us. So we kind of use that as a quality control. But a good hook, it's one of three things. You either the hook is a question, it's a statement, or it's something like negative and controversial, which sounds a little bit of clickbaity. It sounds a little bit of gimmicky, but nothing will post or like catch the algorithm and catch people's attention more than a statement that might rub people the wrong way. You go watch some of the professionals. They'll sometimes take the very end statement of a thought or idea that's controversial, like men always do this, or women never do that, or like liberals or Republicans or whatever. They find something that's kind of divisive and they start a statement like that. Like, poor people always do this, or poor people are dumb. And everyone's like, I'm poor. I'm not dumb. Damn it. And then they listen to the clip and they're like, fuck, maybe I am dumb and poor, right? So something controversial like that is going to pull attention. And so gamify it, man. If you're going for traction, if you want shit going on, do it. Like I said some controversial stuff on about a what is it called, conspiracy theory on the Derek Lake podcast, and it was very controversial regarding a certain group of people in the Americas. Very general. Anyway, there's a group of people that are on the news all the time and just won't shut up. And I said something controversial. And I don't hate anybody, but I said something controversial and it fucking blew that clip up. It's like 3-4 million views on Facebook. Because I made a statement. That was a statement that was controversial. So that's a hook, statement or question. And then sometimes it's like a negative remark. So I'm not fully sold on that. I don't think it needs to be all the time, but if that's your brand and you want to go with it, if you want to be a provocateur and like, start shit on the internet, works. So a good hook, right? But then it follows up with, at the end is a punchline. I'm not really too concerned about the middle of the clip as long as it just makes sense. Is the clip, is the information, or is the entertainment, or the education, or the inspiration, is it a complete thought? So it starts with a good hook. Is there a complete thought in the middle? And does it come with a punchline at the end? A period, a punctuation where I gained something from this, like a laugh, or like an amazing moment, or something like that, right? To entertain me. Was there education informed? So that's kind of the structure we do. Identify the type of clip, make sure it has a good hook, and then make sure it has a punchline. And the punchline usually brings it back to the hook, and it has to make sense. So it's reaffirming the statement that was made or reaffirming the idea. So that's how we teach our clip cutters as far as the structure of clip goes. From start to finish, that's their process. That's what we're teaching. That's what we're training. And it's been yielding some better results. So we're very happy with it. But then there's the technical elements. I keep talking away from this mic, huh? Then there's the technical elements of the clip. Let me shift this way. So this is more for the people that are doing the edits, right? But it's important to you if you're ever building a content team. It's important for you to understand this so you can direct an editor to go search these things. You might not know what every transition's called. You might not even know how to use the software. But if you know these terms, it will help you with your factory, your content creation. So the elements of a clip that Blueform Media has designated as we have B-roll, we have images, we have jump cuts, subtitles, and music. We'll start with jump cuts. So in the editing software you use, you've had your aspect ratio is correct. It's 9:16 if you were wondering. For that to create a vertical video. So if you're using Adobe Premiere, if you're using DaVinci or CapCut, CapCut's amazing because it has a ton of elements like this already. Super easy to use. And it's very easy to switch aspect ratios in CapCut. I'm sorry, I have something in my eye, but I'm just going to keep going. The show must go on. So CapCut's a great tool if you want to start there. If you're starting fresh, if I didn't invest a ton of time into Adobe Premiere when I was younger, I would probably dive into CapCuts. I'm diving into it more, and I'm actually doing more creative work in CapCut than I am Adobe Premiere. So if I was to do it over again right now and start editing, I would use CapCut only. It's just geared towards the modern era of social media. It's got a ton of free elements, and it's very cheap if you do subscribe for a little bit more. So CapCut is great. CapCut, sponsor us if you want. We're available for that. So B-roll, images, jump cuts, subtitles, and music. Jump cuts. What's a jump cut? Well, have you ever been watching a clip, and to keep engagement, every time they make a cut, they cut out, I forgot to add there as well, cutting out the ums and the uhs and useless stuttering. It's another element of clip cutting, because if someone's going, I went to the store, I could cut the I's out, and it could be, I went to the store. making it more concise, cutting out the yeah. So I was, well, let me start over. Right, cut all that shit out, get to the meat. So it flows fast. Even if it's like a 10-second clip, don't get lazy. Cut that stuff out. You're looking for engagement on a clip. So the quicker you can get to the point, the quicker you can get to the hook, the statement, the climax of the clip, the entertainment value, whatever value that listener is extracting out of it, the quicker you can get there, more concise you can get there, the better. And every time we cut to a different person or doing something else, we transition it or we zoom it in and out, just in small increments. And you'll see on this clip, because Anna's probably going to grab this clip. Mallory's going to mark it down. And this is an educational clip, right? So she's going to mark it down right now. Anna's going to grab this clip and she's going to do jump cuts every time I say something. Every time I need a jump cut, she's going to come in and do that. So she'll doctor this whole thing up and make me look real good. And she's going to add B-roll, something random like an ostrich running over an ostrich at the zoo or some kind of animal at the zoo is what she's going to add in here as a B-roll. And then she's going to add some images like a guy carrying a kayak. That's an image that could be added.
My hope is that somebody listens to this muted and they're like, what is happening in this clip?
Yeah.
Ostriches, kayaks.
Ostriches,
What
kayaks.
is going on?
So Anna, this is your time to show. This is an educational clip. Anna's going to cut it. And she's going to show you B-roll of a giraffe at the zoo. And then she's going to show you a picture and an image of a kayak being carried by a guy. Just to show you. And then she's going to do jump cuts every time I emphasize something. Jump cuts. Okay, so those are examples of jump cuts and other elements of a clip. So images, right? It's just an image that you grab. But even we've had to train people on how to grab images. A lot of people don't know how to work Google Chrome or like these little tools that are available to you, like a desktop tool called the Snip tool, where you can basically customize a screenshot of anything you'd like on your on your desktop. Lots of cool stuff you can do, and understanding what a JPEG is, understanding what a PNG is, and these other image profiles is super, super crucial for your editing process. But yeah, then subtitles and music. We do the subtitles in Opus because they have what's called the Hermosi style. That's how you know you're doing well on social media, is if somebody creates an entire style named after you. So well done to that team and whoever did that with Alex Hermosi. Because that's actually a setting in CapCut. You can choose a Hermosi style. I think you can even choose it in Opus.
Yeah, I think all the AI subtitle tools I've seen lately, I think literally all of them have a Hermosi setting.
Yeah, it's such an attractive font. It's such it pops. It's well designed, and they're utilizing colors well. White, green, and yellow are probably the most contrasting colors in most backdrops, at least for social media. And reading words in those colors is most easy on the eye, I think. There's studies about that. So subtitles is huge, and you can customize anything in the video space, but doing it quickly, I would say CapCuts is good. I'm not a fan of doing captions in Adobe. I think it's time consuming unless there's a plugin that I'm unaware of, which there always is. There's always a plugin or an AI that's going to change the world that I don't know about. So if you know of something that helps with subtitles in Adobe, post it down below. Share the wealth with the community, spread the word like an apostle, spread the good word. So those are the elements that we use: B-roll, images, jump cuts, adding subtitles and music, and then also cutting out the ums and uhs. We call that polish. Polish that thing up. Make it concise as possible. And it is time consuming, but with a good process, some of our editors are cutting 5 to 10 clips a day over multiple what do you call it, for multiple clients. So we're currently doing 9 podcasts that do weekly podcasts. So we're doing 9 podcasts a week. That gets splits up. Every podcast gets split up into 2 YouTube segments. So that's 18 YouTube segments. And then those episodes, we extract 10 to 15 clips out of each episode. So we're looking at minimum 90 clips a week between all 9 of our podcasts. And so our editors are highly effective, and we've created a good pipeline system where one day, or in the morning, they'll take a podcast episode, they'll go through the notes, and they're just going to clip, and they're going to extract 10 banging moments, 10 bangers. They're going to extract 10 clips from that and then save their work. And then the next day they have 10 little clips in their, their video editing timeline to polish and do. And that's when they do jump cuts and B-roll, and they finalize each clip. Some of our editors, they finalize one clip at a time. So they do images, B-roll, jump cuts, and emphasize all the things that clip needs. And then they export that and move on to the next one. I like to spend the morning extracting those clips. So I got 10 moments that I can use for a clip. Then I'll take a break, come back to it that afternoon, and then I'll do all the jump cuts in all 10 clips. I'll make sure they're all flowing correctly. I conveyor belt them. So I'll do jump cuts on all 10 clips, save it, and then I'll come back and do B-roll and images. So I'm just massive downloading, lots of B-roll, non-copyrighted footage, which a whole nother topic we could discuss as well is artlist.io. That's another great tool. If you're looking for B-roll and free music, non-copyrighted B-roll, I think there's images. There's also Adobe plugins. Like Artlist.io is probably one of the best tools we've invested in as far from an editing standpoint, enhancing footage, enhancing the clips. Just amazing. So Artlist is great. So once I'm at that stage where I'm doing B-roll, I'll just look at a 60-second clip that's already cut, it's already jump cut, it's already concise, it's a complete thought. And then I'll be like, okay, what footage would look good here? I kind of just close my eyes and see what comes to mind as I listen to the clip. So I'm listening, and they're talking about a giraffe at the zoo. They're talking about a guy carrying a kayak, so I'm looking for footage that would emulate that. Or somebody like checking the time right on their watch. So whatever I can visualize, that's what I start searching on artlist.io or looking for images like that. And then I'll put those elements in and finalize those. Then I'll save it, come back to it again later. So this is over like a 2-day period. And I'm just nudging forward 10 clips from a complete episode in about 2 to 3 days. And then all 10 clips are done. But then I'll do images. Then we'll toss it off to someone to do the opus, subtitles, and optimization. So we have this package. We have a recording happen, and within 2 to 3 days, we have 10 clips done. And not always. This is perfect world. So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, they took 5 days for me. Yeah, we understand. That's his ideal perfect world. We still give our editors leeway. So it's about a 5-day turnaround, but pretty effective when we're doing 9 podcasts like this. We're always staying ahead, always
Side
getting
note,
those.
Sorry.
Yeah.
To interrupt. For either a podcaster or a media company / team, we found it super imperative and important that you have a couple episodes in the bank, that you're not trying to get 5 clips out in a 2-day period and they all suck, but it doesn't matter because you didn't have time and blah blah blah. Just get a couple episodes ahead and buy yourself some time. That's my great tip for the day.
That's great. Let's backtrack to that because we're talking about Mallory or myself or a live producer that's recording that episode, and they're writing down notes and timestamps with intention to capture moments of the brand. They understand the brand. They understand the episode and the context of everything spoken. And so they're translating that in. So an editor can also edit with that same intention or close as possible to it. But before that as well is sitting down with intention with your podcasters or your content team if you're the host, and planning out a schedule to release this content and putting a start date. And so our minimum, you have to have 4 to 5 episodes in the bank with us to even start getting your content back. Because especially if you're a new client, some companies, they require you to have 9 recordings, 9 to 10, before they even start releasing the content. So it is a buildup. You want to have this tidal wave of content ready to go, or this, rather, the better analogy would be a dam, right? This big reservoir of content blocked by a dam, and then it's slow dripped out, controlled. The release of that content is controlled on a daily, weekly, but whatever your posting schedule is. So you have this plethora, this huge cornucopia, a large swath, a reservoir, a gaggle, okay, a flock of content ready to go to the world.
What adjectives? That was good.
Yeah. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Hopefully that helps you out with the structure of your clips, the structure, and a little bit more nitty-gritty stuff on the editing. And if this does well, I think we should keep going into deep dives on our processes and how we can help the community or anybody that's doing content. This should help you translate into your own processes. So hopefully that was helpful. Just to recap one more time, the structure of a clip, okay? You find out what type of clip it is. EEII. It's educate, entertain, inform, or inspire somebody. Put it in one of those bins. Then focus on the other parts of the structure. A good hook. Make sure there's a question, a statement, or something controversial. Then there's a punchline. Make sure it makes sense in a complete thought, and there's a period, a punctuation on there, and then you're good to go. Then refer back to that part for the intricacies of the editing of the clip. If you want more information, if you want work, Mal, mark this down. This would be a great clip for Anna because we can use it. But if you're looking for work remotely, we hire people that are remote. If you know how to edit, if you want to test your skills, you want to learn, you're interested, we can get you on an internship if you're young. If you don't have any experience, we have people interning with us right now. It's a short internship, and if you show us what you got, it will lead to a paid position. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for work, let us know. If you have some talent in this area, we'll tell you our prices and what we pay out for our editors, and we'll go from there. So anyway, this has been another episode of Your Content Factory. Thanks for tuning in. Again, remember, we are the foundation for your content creation. My name is Blake, and may the force be with you and shit like that.